Hi, Jim here with today's geopolitical thought for the day. If you hear a little bit of pitter-patter in the background, I'm recording this in my home office as usual. If you're hearing a little pitter-patter in the background, that's rain. I have forgotten how many days, I've lost track of how many days it's been raining out here where I am, just outside of Memphis in Tennessee, and not to be confused with the Memphis in Egypt, okay? So I'm not in Egypt, I'm in Tennessee, and it's raining like crazy, and you actually wouldn't expect much rain in Memphis, Egypt, would you? So that's another way you can tell. So you know I'm telling the truth. I'm in Tennessee. It's raining like crazy. Now, if you've been following my vlog for any length of time, you know that just like most Americans, I support Israel in the fight against Hamas. I want Hamas grounded to dust, eliminated. So it would be very unusual for me to put on an actual Hamas commander telling how to deal with the Israelis, But I found this, I want to be fair to I try to be fair. You might say I'm going too far and being too fair, but I'm going to show you a video. Now, this is a commander of the they call the Nukba brigade or Nukba. They're the elite force of Hamas, okay? And this is going to be, I'm going to show you a video. This is it. This is how he dealt with the Israelis, because the Israelis, I should, a little digression here, it was just announced, Netanyahu just announced that, or the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, 12,000 Hamas terrorists are dead now. So that's about half of them. 18 out of 24 brigades are gone. Israel is poised on the just on the outskirts. No, they've actually gone into Khan Yunis. So they're on the outskirts of Rafah, which is right on the border with Egypt. It's actually it's the last redoubt of those remaining battalions that haven't been eliminated yet. So I'm gonna, because I expect the Israelis to win. So I'm just gonna. Here is a Hamas commander, telling how to deal with the Israelis, and here he is.
شو اسمك ابو باي؟
محمد نصر سليمان بن نمر.
شو لقبك؟
ابو البراء.
امتى انتميت للجناح العسكري تبع حماس؟
2009.
وين أقيلت؟
في نفق في خان يونس.
أنو سلاح كان معكم في نفق؟
كلاشينات، قذائف ربجية، أبوات ناسفة، قوارب متفجرة.
هل اتخذتوا على الجنود اللي فاتوا على نفق؟
لا.
يعني ايش صار؟
اتخذنا قرار إنه بدناش نقاتل، أول ما يجي الجيش بدنا نسلم حالنا.
شو سويتوا؟
قعدنا في الغرفة، حطينا السلاح كليته برا الغرفة، واجا الجيش أخذ السلاح كليته من برا الغرفة، وقعدنا نستنى. لما جا الجيش رفعنا ايدينا واستسلمنا.
شو بتنصح لناشدين العسكريين الموجودين بالانفاق؟
أنا بنصح الكل إنه يستسلم، إنه مصيرك.
As soon as he knew that the Israelis were coming, they all agreed, he didn't have to order anybody, they all agreed that they weren't going to, they would just be all killed if they didn't surrender. So imagine if all of the Hamas fighters had realized that, simply stacked up their weapons and just waited for the Israeli soldiers, military, to collect all the weapons, and then just put up their hands and surrendered. How many lives would have been saved? Not just civilians, but the terrorists. All the deaths that have happened is because they didn't do that, because there was we're not talking about Bastogne, the famous battle during World War II, where you had easy, 101st airborne. The soldiers that were surrounded at Bastogne, they were surrounded by the Germans, and the Germans said, your situation, the German general sent a message that your situation is hopeless and you should surrender. And the commander, I don't remember his name, but of the American soldiers in Bastogne, they were freezing, winter, and vastly outnumbered, and it's famous for the message that he sent back, which was one word: nuts. And well, we know that Bastogne, what happened was there was fog, and air cover could not come in, but then the fog cleared. Air support came in and just bombed the Germans to smithereens, and the Bastogne was saved, and the soldiers won. So that's a case where they had a hope of winning, but there was, imagine if it had gone on for another week, let's say, then let's be honest, you would have had if air support, if reinforcements could not have come, and also reinforcements came, also ground troops, but that didn't happen. Eventually, they would have had to surrender. So you make you just use your common sense. Hamas can't. They know they can't win. They know they can't win, and what they're waiting for is for world opinion to force the Israelis to stop. And the Israelis are united. They're not going to stop. However, there are a lot of Israelis who hate Netanyahu, but they're united on the need to eliminate Hamas once and for all. They are not going to stop, and if they do not stop, then actually I'll end on this, because there have been reports that Egypt said that if the Israelis go into Rafah, that the peace treaty between Israel and Egypt would be dead. But there's another story I read where the Egyptians told Hamas, you have 2 weeks. You have 2 weeks to release all the hostages, and if you don't, then the Israelis are going to come into Rafah. So the Egyptians understand what's going on, and it's not going to kill the peace treaty. That would just be insane. And the Israelis, they're already talking with the Egyptians and reassuring them that they're not what Egypt is afraid of. They're afraid of refugees just flooding into the Sinai, flooding over the border. The Israelis said they're going to go very slowly and methodically and evacuate the people. Well, Netanyahu was on, maybe I'll run this interview in a future vlog or portions of it. He was on Fox News Sunday, I believe, and he said they're going to take their time, that they've secured enough of the north that they can start moving the Gazans who fled south, move them to the north, and then the additional ones that live in the south, they'll go north, and the Israelis will come in. And Netanyahu says they are very close to victory, and I believe him. And that's about it, except that I could also believe that would really be great if you would subscribe to my channel, but most of all, or share this video with anyone you think would benefit from it, but most of all, come back and see me again. I would love to see all of you again, and until I do see all of you again, bye.